Solve by taking the square root. We have two different cases to look at. This is going to be case 1. Case 1 is where we just simply have an x squared that we need to isolate. There's nothing with the squared, it's just simply x squared. There's no other constants, there's no other parentheses, it's just x squared. So, in order to solve by taking the square root, we have to recognize that we are missing a bx term, okay? We don't have one. There's no just x anywhere in this equation, okay? So all you who tried to do and solve your tests by taking the square root on these quadratics, it did not work because you cannot take the square root of an x, okay? We can take a square root of an x squared because that's a perfect square. So let's go ahead and start solving this equation and see where it gets us. Based off of our equation rules and balancing, we know that we can do the inverse of a negative 48 so that we can get a 0 on this right side. And to maintain balance and to keep that property alive, we're going to go ahead and do it to the other side. So I'm going to now bring this whole term down. 4x squared equals 48. Do I have just my x squared by itself? No. So what am I going to do? I'm going to divide both sides by 4. So now I'm going to have x squared is equal to 12. Okay? Am I finished? No, I am not finished. I'm going to erase this and give myself space. So I have x squared is equal to 12. Since I have x squared is equal to 12, I can now recognize that since my x squared is by itself and x squared is a perfect square, I can take the square root of that very nicely and get that squared away. So this is going to give me simply x is equal to plus or minus the square root of 12. Now, there's a couple things that I told you with taking the square root. You must always add in plus or minus. When we're solving a quadratic, we have two solutions. And in this case, especially when it's an even function, because we have an x squared and no other degree, it is symmetric about the y-axis. That means I have a solution on the left side and I have a solution on the right side. Hence the reason why I have plus or minus. What you need to gain from all of what I just said, if you didn't gain any of that, is that every single time you take the square root of an equation on both sides, you must add a plus minus to represent both the positive solution and the negative solution. Why is that so important? Again, quadratics have two solutions. Now, I'm going to go ahead and look at 12 to see, does 12 simplify? Okay, so I'm going to break 12 down. 4 times 3, 2 times 2. Okay, I've broken down all of this. I'm going to find my pairs, and I'm going to keep what's inside. Okay, so I have x is equal to plus or minus. The pairs come out. The 3 stays under. 2 square root 3. That is my solution for case 1.